Hello again, Stoveminders. I hope ye had a festive time over the Christmas. The stove's been heating up as MLB teams see the calendar running out. And as such, a lot of moves going down in the baseball world. If you want to hear my breakdown of the San Diego Padres, trading for Blake Snell, and signing Ha-Seong Kim, check out the previous episode of the Stoveminders, and for my eventual prognosis of the Yu Darvish trade brewing between the Padres and Cubs, that's coming next. But for now, I got some cleaning up to do. Because on Christmas Eve, the Pittsburgh Pirates traded a player from their old core of 3 or 5 years ago, whose contract is running out, and for whom the Pirates could get some rebuilding pieces. Remember, that was the worst team in baseball last season in terms of record. Congratulations on winning the Kumar Rocker sweepstakes. But for now, goodbye to Josh Bell. On to Washington, to the Nationals, in exchange for 2 right-handed pitching prospects, Will Crowe and Eddie Yean. Or perhaps Yan, Y-E-A-N, he is Dominican. I'm going to say Yean, just because it's funny to say. But no jokes here, Josh Bell is a horse. 6'4", 250-pound switch hitter, a career .466 slugger who has hit as many as 37 home runs, which was in 2019, and knocked 30-plus doubles in multiple years. Rounding out his 5-year career slash is a .261 batting average, decent, and a pretty good .349 on base percentage. Bell will give you 70-plus walks in a regular season, but he'll also strike out over 100 times in that span. 26.5% K rate for his career. That's not good. But that said, the Nationals struck out less than everybody else apart from the Houston Astros in 2020, while lagging below average in many team batting categories en route to last place in the NL East. Nats need some firepower. But the biggest reason this move makes sense for the Nationals is, oddly enough, positioning. Now, as a Cubs fan, I've seen Bell play a lot, and this guy might be the worst defensive first baseman in baseball today, at the major league level. 32 defensive runs allowed above average, or minus 32 defensive runs saved below average in his career. Either way, just bad. But Washington does not have a first baseman at all, with Ryan Zimmerman sitting on the fence regarding his retirement, and Eric Thames in free agency. The 28-year-old Bell has 2 years left on his contract. There were extension talks, but Pittsburgh has hit the rebuild button. He is in arbitration and expected to earn about $6 million next season, which is nice for a Nationals club expected to have the 6th highest payroll in baseball. Bell will fit nicely in the middle of the lineup, and with 30-30 upside, whose only bad year was 2020 and in 2019 was an all-star, I'd be satisfied with this acquisition as a Nats fan. Just expect a few more errors at first base on plays that should have been made than you would usually expect. Going the other way to Pittsburgh, well, first of all, the Pirates farm system ranked 16th, middle of the pack in MLB Pipeline's midseason rankings, so they need some reinforcements, and those will come in the form of 2 right-handed pitchers, starting with Will Crowe. Now 26 years old, he made his debut last season, making 3 god-awful starts. Word out of the Pirates front office is that Crowe will compete for a rotation spot, which puts their current starters that are in their late 20s later on in their pro contracts, similar to Joe Bell. So I'm talking about Joe Musgrove, Stephen Brault, Chad Kuhl, and Jameson Taillon, who hasn't pitched in a while due to injury. All those guys, most of their rotation, those are all on the trading block now. Those guys might all get traded, or at least some of them will. I've heard Joe Musgrove pop up a couple times. As for Crowe, he did rank 4th among Nationals prospects before 2020, so there is some hope that he can add a little something for the near future in Pittsburgh. More intriguing yet is Eddie Yan, a 19-year-old Dominican with potentially 3 good pitches and some zip. 97 miles per hour already on his fastball, with the expectation that could rise as he continues to develop. Yan was 6th in the national system and now ranks 7th for the Pirates as their number 2 pitching prospect. He's thrown as high as Class A short season with a big league ETA of 2023, so a long-term investment for the Pirates. Other potential trade chips on the Allegheny River are, as I mentioned, basically their whole rotation. And in addition, look for catcher Jacob Stallings, second baseman Adam Frazier, and relievers Chris Stratton and Richard Rodriguez. A bunch of names. This could be a proper fire sale down in Pittsburgh, even more so than what was brewing with Cincinnati. I haven't heard too much on the Reds front as of late. As for the Pirates, again, I'll underline Joe Musgrove and Adam Frazier as trade chips of note, who I think other teams might be interested in. But yeah, Josh Bell going to the Washington Nationals for 2 all-right pitching prospects. Let's go down to Texas. They've had a weird offseason and just got even more unorthodox with the signing of right-handed pitcher Kohei Arihara out of Japan on a 2-year contract worth $6.2 million with a $1.24 million posting fee. Kohei Arihara wasn't the biggest name coming out of Asia this winter. To that, you think Ha-Seong Kim, who recently signed with the Padres, and Japanese pitcher Tomoyuki Sugano. However, Arihara is a 2-time All-Star in Japan at the age of 28, with 6 seasons of Nippon professional baseball under his belt. All that with the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. Arihara's first 4 seasons were alright. He was a Pacific League Rookie of the Year, but bounced around between the NPB and the Japanese minors in that span as well. Since the start of 2019, however, Arihara has turned it up to the tune of an ERA between 2.5 and 3.5, and a whip around 1 in almost 300 innings. Few walks, few strikeouts, low 90s velocity, 3 primary pitches, and up to 4 total secondary. He might not be Yu Darvish, but bottom line is this: the Rangers need pitching. Looking at 2021 from now, which is still relatively early in the offseason, the Texas rotation will rely on youth in the form of Dane Dunning and Kyle Cody, 2 sophomores, and Colby Allard, who's just 23 years old, while the veterans, Kyle Gibson and Jordan Lyles, are probably not going to set the world on fire. Texas beat out Boston and San Diego in bidding, so we'll see what Arihara can do to an ass-quality Rangers team that might be the worst in baseball in 2021. Over in Detroit, the Tigers have signed right-handed starting pitcher Jose Ureña to a 1-year contract, $3.25 million. Not huge, but I'll breeze through this. Ureña, 29-year-old Dominican, has spent 6 seasons with the Marlins before getting non-tendered this year. Overall, 4.60 ERA, 4.74 FIP, whip above 1.3. Not much to like as far as strikeouts, which are 6 per 9 on average. And in his 2 best seasons, 2017 and 18, Ureña led either the National League or the majors as a whole in hit by pitches. Get this guy under control. He's out of control. Okay, so a bit of a gamble, but considering that the Tigers are still rebuilding, this acquisition will add competition to a rotation featuring some big-name prospects, Casey Mize and Tariq Skubal, both of whom debuted in 2020 without much success, and some veterans in Michael Fulmer and Matthew Boyd. Really, only Spencer Turnbull had a good 2020 among starters in Detroit, and I guess this would add a 6th name to that field, but if anything, he'll be a swingman, or basically adding a guy to say, hey, listen, you youngsters, if you don't get your shit together, you're going to AAA. But yeah, Jose Ureña to the Tigers, and also to the Rangers. As I said, it's been weird. They got a minor league deal for utility man Charlie Culberson, an 8-year MLB vet, most known for his postseason performances and clutch capacity. He is a career .249 hitter with a 684 OPS. That's 21 points below average. That said, he's had good runs with the Braves and Dodgers, and in Texas, Culberson will have opportunities abound with his ability to play basically anywhere. So usually I try not to talk about minor league deals, but sometimes they're interesting, and that one, I guess so. Rumor mill. Rumor time. What the fuck is going on? The Boston Red Sox are in on utility man Kiké Hernandez, who could fill their long-standing gap at second base, though I'm sure Boston would appreciate Kiké's versatility too. And how sad is this? The Tampa Bay Rays are on sale. Well, unfortunately not really, because their ownership is dog water. But in addition to Blake Snell, they are now shopping longtime center fielder Kevin Kiermaier, which makes sense for financial purposes. He's under contract for 2 more years at a total of $26 million in salary, plus a $2.5 million buyout/option. He's their most expensive player at the moment, and considering his lack of offensive production, makes sense why they would prefer to go with their with the versatility that they have in the outfield. Kiermaier is a 3-time Gold Glover, so if a team is willing to eat that salary, it could, I guess, bring him over. And over in Houston, the Astros are in serious talks with catcher Jason Castro, who spent 6 seasons early in his career with the Astros. Castro of the Astros. If they were to sign him, Houston would own arguably the best pure defensive catching tandem in baseball, with veteran Gold Glove steel catcher Martin Maldonado and potentially elite framer Jason Castro. And just a little bit of a Cubs cast note. Nico Hoerner might play more center field next year, depending on what other roster changes might happen in Chicago. Hoerner was a surprise Gold Glover, playing mostly at second base, but the sentiment seems to be that Ian Happ would serve better in left, and if Hoerner moves to center, that would open up some more opportunities for David Bodie. So that about does it for this mop-up episode of Stoveminders. The Yu Darvish trade is supposed to get finalized tonight. I'm worried. I don't know what's going to come of this. Cubs Nation is in suspense mode. Gotta keep biting that stove. You never know what's going to happen.